her, she's a bitch.
Mrs. Meldrum, Mrs. Hinch gets it quite bad.
We're not even relevant enough to be called knobheads.
There's people on YouTube, people on Instagram that I don't like.
I'm calling you out as an absolute prick.
Talk about the influencers, children.
Like, this podcast will open up, I'm sure, over time, lots of conversations, lots of debates, which are absolutely fine.
They call it the hate watching.
Like, did your mum not give you enough cuddles when you were a child or something?
They're wishing her unborn baby dead.
This is actually affecting people's life.
She's had social services called on her, like, so many times. And about suicide and all this lot. Well, they need to think about that the next time that they're saying absolutely disgusting things about people. Do I look further back than you, or is it alright? Because obviously you are, like, more closer.
Well, just get comfy.
No, if I lean back, you're not going to be able to see me, look.
Don't lean back then.
I might want to.
We'll pull your chair in then.
I can't, otherwise I'll be on top of that.
Move it, it moves. So welcome back to That David podcast with me, David, and today, my wife, Donetta.
Hello.
What's it like being on my side of the world then?
Really weird.
No David and Donetta anymore.
Oh,
This
no.
is David versus Donetta. No, it's not. So we're at Cast today, so obviously I always like to shout out Cast before we start because they give me this incredible place to film in and to record in, and they've given us a different room today and I absolutely love it. So if you're on YouTube, you'll see the new setting. If you're listening on the podcast, just trust me, it's a cool little space. We've got the two youngest kids with us today, so Christ knows how this podcast is going to go down.
Excuse any background noise. We've got Corbin on his iPad and Blake's asleep at the minute, but who knows?
And Donetta will definitely, probably not even talking to the microphone for half of this.
Oh, am I not? Oh. I'm not used to this. This is strange.
This
I'm
is
used
where
to
you,
just talking to that.
Yeah, you don't have to look at the camera this time.
I know. I keep I'm going to be like just talking to the camera.
Right,
all
well
the time.
done.
Where
Because
do I look then?
you're not a YouTuber today. You're just a guest on the podcast.
Where do I look? Do I look at you?
At me? You're having a conversation with me. Like, the polite thing to do is to look at me. Just out of camera as well, we have got, if you're watching on YouTube, just over there out of camera, we have like got the baby in a pram.
Yeah, so if I do keep looking over there, it's because I'm keeping my eye on her.
Yeah,
that's
podcast listeners, sorry about that, because that means absolutely jack shit to you. What we thought today then is I've got Donetta on the podcast. This is not David and Donetta. Well, it is, but it's not the David and Donetta YouTube channel. Donetta has come onto That David podcast to talk about something that we probably wouldn't really talk about. It doesn't really fit with our channel. At some point we may do, but we thought we'd take this opportunity to switch up the podcast as well and not have like an interview type conversation, which is where the podcast has started from. This is more like a topical kind of thing, because pointless interviewing Donetta, because we've got nearly 300 videos on our YouTube channel. If you want to know anything about us, go over there and watch. So today, what do you want to talk about on today's podcast, Donetta?
Well, I thought we could talk about, amongst other things, that the website that everybody's talking about at the minute.
Well, you say that. I've only ever heard you talk about it, and I've never clicked on it in my entire life. I don't even know what it looks like. What is this website?
It's basically a website that people go on.
What's it called?
Oh, I didn't even want to give it a name.
Well, you got to now. We've got to call it out.
It's called tattle.life.
Tattle.life.
Yeah. I don't know. If you just type tattle.life in.
Oh, you've just got some notes there. You haven't got it there.
No.
So what is this website?
It's tattle.life.
Tattle.life is what we're talking about today. And basically, the overriding theme, I'll tell you straight off the bat, is the toxic community, the negativity, the trolls, whatever you want to call them, the negative side of YouTubers, influencers, Instagram. You know, we're putting together vloggers, YouTubers, Instagrammers, basically just people like us, really, and people in our space that are like, you know, sharing their lives or certain aspects of their lives, or they have a blog, a YouTube channel, whatever, and it's the toxic thing around that. Me and Donetta have never really spoke about it properly, I don't think, on the internet.
No,
so I thought we'd take this opportunity to talk about this. So this tattle.life, what is it?
It's basically a forum where if you typed in most influencers, online YouTubers, Instagrammers, it's more than likely they'll come up if they've got a fair few people following them.
Right.
And it's just basically where they just rip the absolute piss out of them.
So normal bog standard people are going on this website, typing in Mrs. Meldrum and saying, "I hate her, she's a bitch."
It's disgusting. It's more than that. It's bullying. It's awful. It's basically just taking every single part of their life, every tiny little thing that they're doing, and just being disgusting.
What sort of people tend to be are on there getting all this abuse?
Get all the people let's
name some of them that are getting the abuse.
Well, you've got Mrs. Meldrum, Mrs. Hinch gets it quite bad. Part-time working mummy, This Mama Life, Conway's. I only actually found out about this website because Kerry and Warren did a video.
Is that Q&A. Conway Clan is their channel?
Yeah. And they mentioned it because they're getting quite a lot of stick on there.
Are we on it?
I don't think so. We're not big enough to be on there.
Right, okay. We're not even relevant enough to be called knobheads. No. Brilliant, that's great. We might be on it after this.
Yeah, I think Brumming Mummy. There's anybody you can.
Is Toby and Rue on there? Harriet.
Yeah, I've not. I only went on it when I heard about it just to be nosy, and I went on it, and I can't even believe how disgusting it is until you actually go on it, and you need to look for yourself, but then you don't because it's just, I don't know.
Yeah, see, this is where we differ, because you hear that there's this toxic, awful place full of people saying very awful things about other people, and you're like, I'm going to go and have a look at that. And then you told me about it, and I'm like, I'll just never look at that website ever in my entire life. I could not care less what's on it. I mean, obviously now I'm going to use it to get a couple of views and to get kick a conversation, because I think it's a conversation that a lot of people are having. A lot of bigger YouTubers do talk about the toxic side of YouTube and the abuse you get and stuff. But I wanted to have my say because, well, why not? Yeah. But I'll be having my say based on what you've told me, because I have no interest in clicking on this website.
I've only gone on it because I heard about it and I'm nosy. That's basically it. And I'd not been on it for a long time. I just went on it when I heard about it. So, seen a few people that I obviously watch myself.
Yeah.
And I've read through it, and I obviously watched the video because.
Is it always bad? Or is this sometimes good?
No, never.
It's just always bad.
People that sign up and try and actually stick up for the people that they're talking about get blocked and abused and then blocked.
Who's running this site?
I don't know.
Does anybody know?
I think people do know. I think when Mrs. Meldrum did a video, or somebody did a video or an Instagram, and they did actually say where it's come from and who set it up, but I don't know. I ain't got a clue.
I have to question the person, and if you come across this video, if I SEO it good, like, if you're the creator of tattle.life, do you want to come on podcast and talk? Because I'll tell you right now, with the little knowledge that I have, I'm calling you out as an absolute prick, to be quite honest, because you've created something. If it is just one person, it might be like a gaggle of losers that have created it. But if you create something so negative and toxic, it's like, who does that and why? For what reason? Because like you're saying, from what I've heard, in fact, let's have you took any notes or screenshots of some of the things that is on there? Like, what's the worst thing that you've seen on there? Because I want people listening or watching to understand exactly what's on this site. This is
more than just having opinions. I mean, you're not going to like everybody. There's people on YouTube, people on Instagram that I don't like, but then I just don't watch them. I just unsubscribe or don't follow.
That's the adult thing to do.
And I don't watch it. If I don't like it, I don't watch it. And it's a bit more than, I'm watching so-and-so. I don't like what they're doing. I'll just go and have a talk about it, even though I wouldn't do that. But it's more than that. It is actual. It's disgusting. It's bullying. It's they talk about the influencers' children. They talk about weight. They talk about what they're eating.
So it's not really opinions because, I mean, I'm all for the fact, like, when I did the Joe Brand episode on here, you can joke about anything. I think if it's clearly a joke and there's some context behind it, then you're all good to go. I also think you can have an opinion about anything. If your opinion is that if you don't believe in God, you're going to hell, that's cool. You have that opinion. That's not my opinion, but that's yours. Like, opinions are fine. I think adult debates are absolutely fine.
Yeah,
so if you see, like, I want to get on to discussing the Inghams as well soon. If you see them do something or they're speaking about something on a video that you don't agree with, it's okay to say, oh, I don't agree with that, as long as you're then backing it up with a valid point of view and it's just a debate, because like this podcast will open up, I'm sure, over time, lots of conversations, lots of debates, which are absolutely fine. But just outright going on there saying, oh, look at you, you're such an ugly, horrible, fat bitch. Like, that's not an opinion or a conversation.
Yeah. They watch the YouTube videos, they watch their Instagram, and then they go over. They call it the hate watching. They call it hate watching. So they go on.
You're losers.
Watch it
doing that
to hate it, and then they go onto a forum, and they just rip the piss out of every single part of that video, of what they've said, what they've done. Everything.
How many people do you think are like on this website doing this?
I don't know.
Are we talking hundreds, thousands?
Probably hundreds. I don't know, because I don't really look at I've only been on it a handful of times, and I only went on it, well, not even a handful of times, and I went on it last night and this morning just to recap, because I knew that we were going to be doing this.
Yeah.
And I did stumble across that Toby and Rue had won.
Right, and Harriet's our friend, but I'm going to look at this from a completely non-biased point of view, which is how I try to look at everything. You know more than anybody, I try to be unbiased, sometimes biased the opposite way. But, like, some of our friends are on there. Yeah. Some people are on there who I don't particularly like anyway. However, there's a difference between me watching somebody's content and thinking, oh, they're a right prick. But saying that to you or keeping it to myself, I would never in my life think, I'm going to sign up an anonymous username on a shitty website and let people know I think X, Y, and Z are a knobhead. Like, I just can't imagine what you do. Like, did your mum not give you enough cuddles when you were a child or something? Like, something's gone wrong for you to... The energy it takes to do that as well. So, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Or is sometimes, though, people say stuff and you think, oh, actually, I think that.
Yeah, honestly, a couple of times, when it's not too bad, because, I mean, there's where they have, like, debates about just stuff that anybody might think, oh, her eyebrows are a bit dodgy, or whatever, you know, I don't know, I don't like the colour of a wallpaper. Different, and I've thought, oh, yeah, that is a bit, but... I wouldn't. Why would you go on to?
It's not a conversation to have on internet, though. I couldn't give a shit what your wallpaper looks like. But
then there's stuff like that, and then there's the other extreme where if you go on to part-time working mummy's Instagram, she's actually got on her highlights,
right?
Dear Tattle, and if you go on that, she's in bits, and she's pregnant at the minute. This isn't a lady that I watch or follow, so I don't know anything about her. I only know her through somebody else mentioning that she's getting really bad abuse on this website. I've not even read anything what they've said, but they're wishing her unborn baby dead. They're talking about other children. She does a lot of, by the looks of it, I think she does a lot of charity work for different things, and she's got up her GoFund page saying that she's actually, like, taking from that fund. Where she's not.
Where the hell have they got that info? I mean, if they've got solid information, evidence that that's true, then by all means call that person out, because that's the world we live in now. Like, if someone drops a bollock like that, call them out. That's fair game, I suppose, in the world we live in. However, I would like to bet they have zero evidence of that being true whatsoever. Yeah.
Also, they're calling up brands on different influencers, telling them not to work with them.
I've heard that has happened to Mrs. Meldrum, is that right? So Mrs. Meldrum's missing out on work.
Yeah, well, now her husband has actually had to go back to work.
Yeah, we've got to be careful what we say, really, because I imagine, and I'm not so sure that Lee Meldrum's gone back to work purely because Mrs. Meldrum's getting some shit on this website.
No,
who knows what? It would have had a factor in it, but I can't imagine that that's the entire thing. Oh, look, you're getting some shit on that and it's upsetting you. I'm going back to work.
She's getting shit on that. She's getting the people ringing up brands, and then she's then obviously like a mental health and things like that. And she's basically taking a step back through all that. So then to take the pressure off her earning all the money, he's gone back to work.
Yeah, so it's played a major part in it.
It has a massive part.
It's so what I asked earlier, then we never cleared that up. What's the worst thing you've seen on it then? Is it something like that, wishing an unborn child?
Yeah, and there's a lot of, like you said, you want to talk about the Inghams and things. There's a lot of things on there about Sarah's weight, things like that.
Which is completely irrelevant to anybody else other than Sarah.
It's disgusting. And when she had a baby and she was breastfeeding, like there were pictures of the baby and saying that it looked dead. It looked so skinny. She's not feeding it properly.
Right.
She's not
so just a quick shout out to those people that are saying these things. Number one, I want to know what's going through your head. Number two, why do you care that much?
Just don't watch
them. And number three, what is the problem?
If they offend you that much, just don't watch them. Just don't watch anything.
Because I'll be honest, right? Everybody I know, I say no, everybody that I would consider, like, say, an Instagram friend kind of thing. People that I've met since blogging, vlogging, all the rest of it. I know there's probably just short of a handful of people that have met Sarah Ingham. And we mentioned the Inghams, Meldrum, because they're the like quite big influencers that tend to get most of the shit.
Yeah, I read a thread on Charlotte Louise Taylor. She gets quite a lot of stick.
Yeah, but I know a couple of people that have met Sarah Ingham, and everybody only ever says how lovely she is. Like, look, I will be honest, I've watched a couple of the Inghams' stuff, and I think it's fake and bullshit, most of it, but most of YouTube is. However, I'm not their target audience. So it's completely irrelevant what a 33-year-old man who's not interested in family vlogs, daily vlogging, my opinion is irrelevant because I'm not the target audience. So it's not for me. And then even if you watch it and you think, oh, I don't like the way she's parenting, right? That's just a fucking opinion. I mean, if you want to have an opinion about that and it's to start up a conversation on things, fair enough. But I just can't imagine watching it and thinking, do you know what? I'm going to go on this website and I'm going to hammer her.
She's had social services called on her, like, so many times.
So this isn't even then a bunch of internet trolls saying a couple of nasty things because they know there's zero consequences. This is actually affecting people's life. Yeah. So it's played a big part, we think. I mean, we're obviously just going off what we know on YouTube. I don't actually know Rebecca Meldrum or Lee. But from what we know and what we've seen on the internet then, it's played a huge part in Lee having to go back to work, and Mrs. Meldrum's career has been hindered slightly, or whether it's slightly or a lot. I mean, we don't know all the details, so we can't say. But from what we do know, it's altered her career and her husband's, which then has altered their life. It's affecting Sarah Ingham's mental health and stuff, other people's mental health. Well.
A lot of the influencers are now that.
I mean, it'll be affecting mental health in terms of like she's having social services called out to her fucking kids. It's like that can't be a nice experience for anyone. So it's like this is no longer internet trolling. This is like people genuinely having some serious weird hatred of people they probably don't even know.
Massively bullying, and these people that are bullying, it'll be the same people that are probably sharing things on Facebook about Mental Health Week and about don't bully people and about suicide and all this lot. Well, they need to think about that the next time that they're saying absolutely disgusting things about people non-stop.
This is what I wanted to say as well. Can you imagine you're a person, right, that spent the last 6 months slating one of these influencers and then one of those influencers actually commits suicide? Yeah. Like, how would you feel? Like, if anybody's listening who does do this, because, I mean, I don't know whether we're going to get loads of shit for this. I want to know why.
The majority of them are just parents, mums.
Well, most of them anonymous, though. You don't really know who it is, do you, on these websites?
But they say a lot about, well, I'm a mum, I'm a wife, I've got a job, I can do this, I do that. So you kind of sometimes do get a gist that it is. It's mainly other women slating other women.
So what other sort of things have you seen on there
then? People they can't seem to do right at all. Like, they've got what they wanted with Mrs. Meldrum now. Lee's gone back to work. She's pulled back on all of her ads, and she's basically done a lot of what these people have been telling her to do. And then there's still threads on her now, like, that are active right now, talking about, well, I don't know, I didn't really look, but there's still threads on her. She'll never win. They'll never win, even if they did everything what people were saying. Like, I was reading one on Charlotte Louise Taylor earlier on, and she's decorating her son's bedroom, and they're just ripping out of the colour she's done the radiator, and that it's a dinosaur bedroom, will grow out of that soon. Why is she wasting her time on that? Why is Bill and Daisy sharing the bedroom? Shouldn't the little two be sharing the bedroom, right? And Bill should have his own room and blah.
Oh my God.
Really, and then going on about her toes, because apparently she's got weird toes.
Are you fucking kidding me?
I don't know. They say that she looks like, that, they say she looks like that. Is it Crazy Frog or something? That did that song ages ago.
Right, all these people.
They're saying she looks like that. And then her husband or her boyfriend, I read earlier on that they were saying he looked like a cheese string. Just like weird things like, I know, just weird things like that. And there's a whole 6-page forum just chatting shit about that. Just don't watch her. If you're that offended by the way she looks, but about her toes, about how she's painting her kid's bedroom, just don't bloody watch her, for God's sake.
This is like, do you know kids, like teenagers and stuff like that there was an app, I can't remember the name of the app. It was something like, it began with an S, but I can't remember what it was.
Where they could call and text.
Where basically you signed up to this app and you was anonymous, and you could send people anonymous texts and stuff. It was an absolute bullshit app that all teenagers at school decide, was it called Safari or something like that? I can't remember. But anyway, the download the app. You're completely anonymous. You add other anonymous people. I don't really know exactly how it worked, but basically you could send a message to a girl in school saying, you are a fat ugly bitch, and they'd never know who sent it. And then you could send messages saying, I hope you die. Like, you can imagine teenagers. Yes, I do imagine teenagers are stupid. Like most teenagers, that's the reason why you go through your teenage years, because you're learning and stuff. They're idiots. These are full-grown adults that are bullying other
But would they go up
adults.
To somebody in the street that had put
this
on
is it.
that has put on some weight since having a child, like they're doing with Sarah Ingham, and would they go, God, you're looking a bit fat. You've put loads of weight on. Stop eating them burgers. God, your diet's horrendous. Why are you doing this? God, you're starving your baby.
Do you think this is?
No, they wouldn't.
Do you think that this is a thing about internet trolls, because there's no consequences, or very rarely, like you see the odd case on the internet. Like I think football's getting a bit of a grip on some stuff at the moment, because football, like there's a footballer the other day, and somebody's sent a racist tweet to him. So he's alerted the authorities and stuff. The person's been banned from the opposition team who he supports. He's not allowed to go to games anymore. And the police, I don't know whether he got arrested and he's getting put in prison for a couple of months or something. I don't know, but there's consequences, and he will be. There's consequences that he's got to pay up for the crime. Internet trolls. It seems like there is no consequences.
Well, this is it. I don't know, because I know Mrs. Meldrum has definitely said, and I know the Inghams have definitely said, there is police involvement with both of them. There might be.
But I want to see the outcome.
Yeah, well, it's ongoing. And that's why I don't think they can talk about some of it.
Yeah.
But it is ongoing, because these are like hate things or bully, like online, what have you. And it is an actual criminal offence. You can't.
Well, it's that whole hate speech or whatever. Like, you can't. Yeah, you just can't do it.
And it's like,
you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. So there is, and obviously with Ingham's about all the social services and that is all being logged, and that goes straight to the police as well.
Has there ever been a case that you know of a YouTuber like any of the particular ones that we're talking about, obviously like all these ones like pretty much based in the UK and stuff, like we're saying, has any of them ever had anybody walk up to them in the street, face to face, and say like, "Your eyebrows are shit, you fat bitch"?
Well, I doubt it.
Because that's what
I
they
doubt
type
they would.
in.
Yeah, I doubt they would.
But this is it. I don't tend to find anybody that's had an experience where it's been face to face, which tells you straight away that they're just complete muppets on the internet.
But also, what's frightening is I know a couple of them have had people on them forums that are local and said that they've seen them on the school run, they see them at school, and that's where it gets a bit close to home, because a lot of these parents as well that are, a lot of the influencers and YouTubers that are actually having that like the husbands are working away and things like that, so they're on their own.
It's almost like they pick vulnerable paranoid. People.
A lot.
So we're pretty lucky because we've been doing YouTube blogging and stuff like that now for 3.5 years. Me and you doing the David and Donetta stuff has been just over a year. And to be fair, we've never had anything worth noting, have we? Like, I think we've probably had 3 or 4 people. One person said something the other week, didn't they, on an old video about like camera work shit, the end or something like. Yeah. So I mean, it's barely worth mentioning, but that's probably the extent of stuff that we've had. Oh, on the podcast, somebody said I was a hat wearing prick or something like. I mean, if you're in Doncaster and you see me knocking around and stuff, is he coming up to me and saying you're a hat wearing prick or whatever? I just can't see it, like, and I'm not saying anybody should try it because obviously we don't condone any of this sort of stuff. But like we've just been saying, people do it on the internet because there's no consequences. You can hide behind your screen, all the rest of it. They're basically cowards. Oh, yeah, like they're just complete idiots. I mean, and if you're listening, any of you, I am calling you idiots. Like, and I don't mind what backlash I get from this because I genuinely believe I'm right. I don't think this is up for debate. I think if you're of an average education and moral standing as a human being, you will condemn this behaviour. You will know that this behaviour is just not acceptable and it should be stopped. And
I think there is a petition. They have put a petition out to close it, but I don't know how. I don't know if that's a possible thing to do to be able to get a website closed.
With the extent of things that you've said are being said on this website, it's a wonder why the police, because I'm all for freedom of speech, but bullying and calling somebody fat and you don't like their eyebrows is not freedom of speech. It is just bullying. It's just being nasty. Like there's no two ways about it. I am surprised like the police can't get on the website, have a look at the website, and like just decide, right, no, we're taking that down. Yeah. Like I don't. But then I mean I don't know. Without looking at the website myself and seeing exactly how everything's been there and said, I'm sure. Like it doesn't fall under the freedom of speech kind of nonsense that a lot of people say because it's just pure bullying, isn't it?
I mean, they justify it. They justify what they're doing by just saying they're giving them like criticism, like
it's not constructive
to just better what they're
it's
doing.
Not constructive because you can't do if you're saying you look like Crazy Frog. There's nothing other than having plastic surgery. There's nothing you can do about how you look. So it's not constructive criticism. It's like you can't say, "Oh, you're a midget," or "Oh my God, you're a lanky streak of piss because you're 6'6" or whatever, or you're only 4'2". It's like you ain't got no control over that. Talking about way people look is never constructive unless they've asked for your opinion. Because what if? You're saying Harriet had something said about her eyebrows, or like Sarah Ingham said, if they want their eyebrows to look like that, we've got teenage girls, Jesus Christ, eyebrows come in all shapes and sizes nowadays, usually changes day by day.
And why are people so bothered about
that's
people's
it.
eyebrows?
It's never constructive talking about the way people look, especially the parts of them that they can't easily change or whatever. You don't know what's happening behind the scenes. I mean, if you want to say, look, have you ever thought about doing this with your audio and your camera? That's constructive. Yeah. Not saying and it's not constructive saying you're a fat bitch and your eyebrows are horrible and I hope your kids die. Where's the constructiveness? Yeah. And talking about children and like children die. Where's the constructiveness in that?
I think a lot of them have beef about it's mainly the family vloggers and Instagrammers, because a lot of them don't agree with that the kind of exploit. They say that they're exploiting the children.
Yes.
For
I somewhat agree with that.
Yeah.
However, there is a way of talking about that.
Yeah.
We purposely have stepped back from putting the children so much in the vlog since we've educated ourselves more and thought more about actually what are we doing. To be fair, I'm not sure the kids have ever been massively in it.
Well, the girls, a lot of people don't even know we've got the girls because they don't want to be on anything. They're not interested, and that's fine. I know Abigail was a little bit in the beginning, but she's kind of not interested anymore. And Corbyn's on it when he wants to, but he likes doing stuff on camera himself. And we'd never put anything on. We'd never put him on in the bath or when he's having when he's having
I think you have to just use common sense.
Got no clothes or not.
I don't agree with, and I know we've got friends that have done this. But like I say, I'm completely looking at this from my own point of view. I don't care if you're my friend or not. I don't think you should put your children on the internet when they're in a moment of stress, i.e. like crying or upset and stuff like that. I mean, I've seen videos where like a dad shaved his beard off and the baby's like looking like what the fuck, and you think, oh, I can see it is funny, but then when you are a parent, you look at it, you give yourself another 10 seconds thought and you think, actually, it's probably not the best thing to do, because in that moment your child's in a distress situation. Should you not even just a beard thing, like anything where your kid's like having a tantrum or crying or whatever, like I'm just not sure that's for the internet. I don't know what the gain is from that.
Yeah.
Like, why are you putting that on the internet?
When it's on the internet, though, it's there forever. Whether you delete it or not, somebody could have got hold of that and put it onto their computer. It's there forever. And you've got to think when the children are older, and I think this is a lot of why the people on this website have the issue, which is fine to have that opinion and issue, but then
how you voice it.
Yeah, but then they're not, half of the time they're not talking about that.
No, they're more interested in eyebrows.
How people look and how they're decorating their house and how it's never really about that. But I have read bits that I think that is why they mainly have the problem with these people. But that's fine. But then just don't watch them. Don't watch them. If you don't like that part of it and you don't like that you think they're doing that, but you do find a lot of. It doesn't look like they're being forced to do it neither, the children, in a lot of, like...
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a completely different conversation and podcast
you don't know.
Family vloggers and stuff, because there is no right or wrong, really. It's all a matter of opinion and choice.
And I think as long as you don't put them on there doing things or saying things that when they get, if they get to being a teenager and they're highly embarrassed about it, or they're like, oh, why did you put that on of me?
Yeah, I remember somebody talking about this, and I can't remember who it was, but they basically said, as long as you're willing to delete your entire YouTube channel and get rid of it all, when your child gets to 13 and goes, do you know what, all of that shit is embarrassing, I want it gone, as long as you're willing to go, no problem, and delete the lot, then...
But then it's never really deleted, because people have...
Well,
it's
like
on
you're
other
saying,
people's channels.
Yeah, but someone made that point, and I thought... Yeah, I think you've got to be willing to do that. But I just think be smart in the first place and just think about, like, what is it for? Like, if you're putting your nice little family day out and stuff like that, like, what's the aim there? What's the goal? What's the target? I think that matters a lot as well. Like, I know, is it SOCAN Jolie's? Is that them that have gone massive? Like, they vlog every day or whatever, and I haven't watched any of this stuff, so I don't know, but I've heard from other people, like, they literally share everything, like they've changed the baby's nappies on camera and shit like that. And that's where I just think, like, what the fuck? But that's just my opinion. And again, someone else, like, we create family vlogs, but we're very careful about what we only put out things that we feel, knowing our children better than anybody else, will be cool with, and it's not really embarrassing. It's more like, oh, look, when we watch these back in 10 years, this is going to be a nice family memory. We share that with the internet because it's just the way things are going. It's something that we enjoy doing, and we enjoy helping and sharing our life in a strategic way. You watch a 10-minute vlog of one day, that is not the whole fucking day, I can tell you that right now.
Well, that's the same way every family vloggers and that, isn't it? Even when they are you're only seeing snippets of the whole day, really.
Yeah.
And I think that's what people forget a lot of the time.
And people then think that they really know people on the internet. Like, I mean, I just think what's happening now is this all started as a bit of an internet thing. And this is where me and you, I know, have spoke at length at home about, like, I basically say, why do these people care? Why does Meldrum give a shit what these idiots say? Because there's a difference between somebody saying something really mean and nasty. If someone just says to me, oh, you're a prick, I'm like, well, I don't know you and I don't care. Like, if my dad started saying, you've turned into a bit of a dick and I don't really like you, I'd be like, oh, fucking hell, that hurts, that, Dad. Cheers. He hasn't, by the way, I don't think. But, like, you know, some anonymous person who lives at the other side of the country or even in another country calling me a knobhead, I could not care less. And anybody that says something really bad, as in, like, I hope your kids get cancer or die or whatever, I just think you've just said something so bad that I already know it doesn't affect me and I do not care because you're so warped in the head. Like, I don't know why that would ever bug anybody or matter. But I think where we've got to now is I'm basically saying I'm pretty much bulletproof when it comes to online abuse because I just don't care. But I think, no, what's happening, where I'm going with my point is you're now saying this isn't just the internet anymore. It's now affecting actual everyday life. Like Mrs. Meldrum's not just getting called a fat bitch and decorating shit or whatever it is they're saying about whoever it is. Obviously everything I'm saying isn't exactly fact. I'm just like kind of paraphrasing and picking names out because it just gets the point across. But it's not just about somebody on the internet now calling her a dickhead or whatever. They're actually stopping her from getting work. And they're actually, like, some people are saying, we live in your area kind of thing. And, like, making certain threats and stuff like that. And it's like, whoa, this has gone into real life now. Because it's one thing somebody saying, David and Donetta, you are fucking arseholes and we hate your channel, you dicks.
I mean,
and then it's another thing when we start going outside thinking, these people said that they know that we're going Walmart in Doncaster and they're like, after getting us or whatever. Like, that starts affecting you. It's not online anymore. It's when it comes offline is when it becomes a real problem, I think, as well. Or a worse of a problem, more serious, I think.
Yeah, but bearing in mind, like, Meldrum and all the other people that have now come and said, look, enough's enough. This has been going on for months and months and months and months, every day on every platform. Like, they'll get it on the YouTube comments that they're having to sort through. They're getting it on their Instagram that they're having to look at. I know a couple of people, they don't even like going into their inboxes anymore on Instagram to actually connect with people because they're too scared of what they're going to see. And it's when they're getting it every day. So it's like, you know, like, and everybody's different. Like, it might not affect you, but it will affect a lot of people. I mean, I don't know how I'd react if it were all day, every day on everything.
Yeah, I don't think you can say how you'd react, and you can only think how you might react.
It's like saying if somebody broke into your house, how would you react? You don't really 100% know until that's actually happening to you.
No.
And you don't know. I mean, I'd like to think, because I come from where I come from, and
we're all a bit rough and ready.
Yeah, like, I'd like to think,
but then when it actually happens and you freeze, like, how do you know? You don't know.
I'd like to think, like, if people were talking about me I think on that website, if I knew there was something on there, I'd either just not go on it and not look, or I'd go on it and look and probably laugh because. Yeah. But then you've got to think, like, I think Mrs. Meldrum's thread and the Ingham's thread and that, they're on thread number 50 something.
Yeah.
And the threads are pages and pages and pages long, and they're already on thread whatever. It's every day, everything they do, every Insta story that they do, they're just.
Do you ever think any of these influencers, obviously we just keep picking names out because, like we say, I've never looked at the website, Danetta's looked at it.
I've only looked
less
at the
than a
people
handful of times.
that I know as
well.
Like,
and we're just picking out names of people that we do kind of know of.
There is, like, Sorella Alpha Day. There's everybody's on there. Like,
yeah, I can imagine. I mean, I think it gets a little. I mean, it shouldn't be different, but it probably is. Like, if you're Alfie Days and, like, you live in a £7 million mansion or whatever it is that he's got 1.6, I don't know. But like he's got a team of people that'll probably filter it out and he'll never see half of it. So, but whereas the few people that we mention are like even Harriet, we know her personally. Yeah. Like she's just a normal person. Yeah. Like she ain't a mega. I mean, her Instagram, to be fair, looks like she's a mega superstar. She's just a normal person who's got a lot of followers on Instagram.
And that's why I know a few. I mean, I only seen one thread, and it was weird. It came up by accident. I didn't even search for it or anything. It just came up. And the stuff, I think it were only 6 pages, and I think there's only that one thread. I don't think there's much on Harriet. But even some of the stuff I read on there, it is complete and utter shit. It's not true, because like I say, we know them. We know Adam and Harriet, and none of it was true. No. Like, it's all a load
This
of
is
crap.
The problem with the toxicness as well, and I suppose like we can't mention Ingham's without mentioning, because what we're going to say is, does some people kind of bring some of it on themselves? Not that we ever condone pure bullying, but I think my point here with this little section is the fact that sometimes influencers do actually fuck up. And I think it's okay for people to have their opinion about that, such as the recent thing that's happened with the Inghams, where they left their...
Which bit?
Yeah, well...
Which recent bit?
They left... I don't want to talk about... When people hear people talk about the Inghams and stuff, I don't want to talk about the big obvious thing, because I'm not rehearsed in like kind of... Yeah, I'm not, I don't know all the facts and all that sort of stuff, but I suppose we can brush over it later. But basically, they left their child, who was only, what do you say, about 4 or 5 months old or something? Pretty much a newborn baby, on the beach while the rest of the family went in paddling. The camera angle made it look like they were miles away from their newborn on a foreign beach. Like foreign, we're based in the UK, they were on holiday, we're in Spain or wherever, so they've left it there. We saw a headline saying they left their newborn child at the mercy of child snatchers and stuff, which I think is a little bit far-fetched. Is it a very poor judgment to leave your newborn even a little bit on their own?
I think they probably messed up a little bit. But...
I think they fucked up on that occasion, and I think people are allowed to say, look, Sarah, I think you ballsed up there, and you probably, just be a bit smarter. Think about what you're doing. Don't let YouTube and going for a splash in the fucking sea alter your main priority, which is being a parent. I think that's okay. If somebody kind of has that opinion and says, oh, look, I think you've done this and, it's probably a bit shady, or whatever their opinion of that is fine. But that ain't what people are going to be saying.
No, I mean, I've not.
People are going to be going, you ought to have your kids stuck up here, you fucking idiot.
I've not read any of the threads on this situation. I know I did read a little bit on a Meldrum one saying, I bet Mrs. Meldrum's glad all of this business with the Inghams is going on right now because it's taking it all off of her.
Yeah.
But I've not actually read any threads, but I can imagine it's not just kind of, you might have messed up a little bit there, but
So that doesn't really help, does it? When you are fucking up, it's kind of like, you have got to be so careful on the internet
now. Yeah, but that
now.
doesn't, it'll not just be that on that forum. They'll end up being called all sorts of other things.
And having child services called again.
Yeah, because of that. I mean, we wasn't there. We genuinely don't know the camera. We don't know how far away they were, because it is hard to tell in real time how far away. I mean, we've done it before with our camera.
Up.
Yeah, definitely. But what I'm saying is, you can't tell 100% on a video. I mean, we know when we do the camera and we're like, oh, look how close we are when we've been to watch Disney on Ice and stuff.
Yeah.
And we're videoing it. We're right there, but on the camera, it looks absolutely miles away.
But based on how we broke it all down, we came to the decision that they have
she probably, she shouldn't have done that. But
too many risk factors involved.
But we don't know how far away she actually was from that child.
But so basically, obviously, we've just moved the conversation to the fact that sometimes, not that they bring on the type of abuse that's on this website, because we can't ever condone that ever. But sometimes you just think, come on, YouTubers, not just the Inghams, loads of them, like, just be a bit more careful what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, don't feed into the fact that you are a fucking idiot. Like, because you just, a lot of them, like one of my favourite YouTubers ever to watch is Jack Mate. And most of his content is around poking fun at other YouTubers ballsing up. Like the old Logan Paul thing and, you know, filming somebody that had committed suicide and stuff. It's like, who? Why do you do that? But that's okay to say, like, what are you doing, you dickhead?
But this is it as well. These people, these family vloggers, they haven't gone and filmed a dead body. No. They haven't got, they've not been...
They just chose the wrong wallpaper.
Exactly. I can't understand, like, they're not doing anybody any harm. In the grand scheme of things, what are they doing? They're just...
Yeah, I like to think... when people get on at YouTubers, influencers and stuff like that, I always split it into two worlds. So you've got one world, which is the YouTube, Instagram world. Pardon me. And then you've got the real world. And I like to think, right, because we're all in this YouTube world and someone's done a video and it looks like they're buzzed up a bit, let's jump down the throat, the bloody idiots, blah, blah, blah. And then I think, right, now let me use the same scenario, but tell somebody that I know in the real world that doesn't watch YouTube and stuff, would it actually be that bad? No. So basically, because it's a bit like why Big Brother was so captivating for so long, because you're putting people in a little area with all their different personalities, and everyone can fire shots at each other and stuff, and everything's intensified. You know what it's like? You work in an office and you genuinely want to commit murder because somebody like slurps their tea every day for the 3 years you work there, and you're like, one day I'm definitely going to choke you out because of this. Like, everything's intensified and work becomes so pressured and all the rest of it. But then when you go home or you have a couple of weeks off, you're like, do you know what? Were it really that bad? Yeah. Like, in the real world, like a YouTuber, like you say, YouTubers do X, Y, Z, and then I'll tell my dad or, you know, somebody that don't really watch anything other than us, and they're like, oh, right, so they chose some different words. Like, they don't understand the hate. It's when they do things like why I mentioned the Ingham's latest thing, is because that's more of a broader conversation that actual just parents can have about, like, do you leave your baby in the car while you just go and pay for your petrol if you can see them and stuff? Like, you know, these similar scenarios, and that is a good conversation and debate to have for parents. Nothing to do with YouTube and Instagram. So I think sometimes you've got to split the two and think, well, actually, you know, how bad is this? Like, sometimes YouTubers balls up and it's like, well, they're not really hurting anyone. And you can just choose to turn them off. Like, I don't watch fishing on Channel 5. I don't even know if there is fishing on Channel 5, but just an example, I don't watch golf because golf's shit, in my opinion. It doesn't entertain me, so I don't watch it.
Yeah, but the majority of them, actually, they watch.
Watch, you're saying.
Just to go onto this forum and be up to date and keep up to date with all the gossip and the latest thing, what's happened.
Right, okay, so we're coming to the end of the podcast now. Couple more points on this. What do you think should happen? Do you think this website should be shut down?
100%.
If it gets shut down, is another one going to pop up?
Yes, 100%. Because I think this actually got set up through something that was on somewhere else. And I don't know all the ins and outs.
If you could ask, let's say there'll be people on there that are on it like daily or several times a week. If you could ask them one question, what would you ask them?
Why?
Yeah.
Or just why are you watching these people that clearly aggravate you so much and clearly just get on your nerves so much? Just
the baby is like smiling, by the way. If you can hear the little baby in the background, Blake, she's right next to us. If you're watching on YouTube, she's just next to the camera there. For the podcast listeners, I don't know if this will make it into the podcast, but we're just we're trying to do our best being parents and being podcasters.
She's only here. She's not, for anybody that might watch.
Oh my God! Don't phone social services.
No, she is only there, and I can see her and I can hear her.
Yeah. So, do you think then we've just been massively lucky, or we're just completely not relevant enough yet to be getting hate?
I just think we're completely not relevant enough. I think we're too small at it. We've not been on their radar. There are people on there, actually, that I have seen, well, at least one person that doesn't have as many subscribers as us that's been on there.
So just to round this up then, we're speaking about, there's this website, people are just being severely abusive to people that just don't deserve, no one deserves that type of abuse.
I can't get it out.
And we just want to bring it to people's attention, and we want your opinion. If you are on this thing, let us know what your opinions are. If you are going to now jump on us and start calling us whatever, I do want you to know, it definitely won't affect me. I couldn't care less what you say, because I don't know you, and I do not value your opinion whatsoever if you're a person that goes on there and spreads hate.
Well, this is it, actually. Hate. I think, it's Sarah Ingham that said something really good the other day. I don't know if it were on Instagram or what have you. And she actually said, don't take criticism of people that you wouldn't take advice from.
Yeah, it's a famous saying, I think.
Is it? I've not heard it before. She said that somebody had said it to her, and she said,
correct.
Right, it's a really good way of looking at everything.
Well, this is what I was saying earlier about, bloody John, who lives in Washington, calling me a knobhead. I can't fucking care less. I'm never going to see you ever, John.
It's ended up in the Sun newspaper. They're getting journalists phoning them up. Have they got nothing better to report?
Yeah. By the way, as well, we're not. I don't know what to say. Do we need a disclaimer to say we're not outright supporting any of the things that any of these YouTubers and influencers have ever done? Because we might not agree with some of the things that they've ever done. All we're saying is we don't agree with this website and the abusive nature of it. Because there's definitely things that some of these influencers have done that I've thought, Jesus, you've ballsed up there or whatever. So I'm not putting myself out there saying, look, I support all these bloggers and YouTubers. What I do support is the fact that they don't deserve to be told that their kids should die and all the rest of it. That's just always a no. But basically, we just wanted to bring this to people's attention, let people know of the other side. And I just thought it was an interesting conversation for us to have who have never experienced any of this yet. Will we ever experience it, do you think?
I don't know. We'll find out, won't we?
Yeah. So, is that you look then fucking bring it on. No, honestly, I will never click on that website in my life, so you can say what you want on there, I'm not interested. Then I might have a little look and laugh. But I do want you people on there to know that I do think you're pieces of shit, and I don't mind saying that. Yeah. And this is on the internet for everyone to see. If you're spreading, if you're saying the awful things that we've mentioned in this podcast and on this video, I do think you're a piece of shit, and I think you need to. I feel sorry for you because you clearly are not rewarded. We're gonna go home after this. Chill out. We've got our family. Might have some nice food.
Well, this is it. These people have got children as well. What are they? Setting an example to the children. Oh, and everybody, I haven't got a mug neither. Me and Corbin, we both never got mugs.
It's because you are mugs.
Well,
I'm gonna go on tattle.life. Fuck off, whatever it is. It's Donetta's mug. That's why I didn't get her a mug, because she is a mug and she needs to sort her fucking eyebrows out.
Well, this is it. I can't talk about anybody's eyebrows.
That's why you got a fringe to cover yours up.
Yeah.
Right, that's it. We want to know your thoughts. Get in those comments. Let us know if you know of the website, what your opinion is. We want everybody watching and listening to let us know exactly what you think about this, because I think it is an intriguing thing. And I also think those of you that listen that are good people, just normal human beings with morals, we should do our bit to bring this some attention and get it stopped, really, because it's just pointless.
Yeah, like I say, there is a petition, but I don't know how that can.
Well, let us know. Do you think it should be stopped, or is this just pure bullying and abuse, or is it freedom of speech? Let us know in the comments. I've been David.
Bullying.
Yeah, we know your opinion.
I've been Donetta.
And you can't see on the podcast, but that's been Blake. So there you go. Thank you very much. Please subscribe to David and Donetta on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and abuse us on tattle.fuckyou. I don't know. Please subscribe to the podcast. See you in a bit.
And I ran up to her and I was so excited. And I ran up to her and I went, I know you, but you don't know me. And I swear to God, she just blanked me. Genuinely, actually, one of the only people I've ever met that I've gone,
I'm reading it in one room, Donetta's in the other room. As soon as I read that bit, I ran in with a book in my hand and I'm like...
7 months, and I was climbing the walls, and I started making YouTube videos, so I had nothing but time. I have often wondered if Netflix was a thing before YouTube, if I'd ever have done this.